If you are listening to this, you probably have that itch,
Oh, absolutely. That drive to build something of your own.
Right, exactly. You are driven, you want to learn, you want to grow, and you likely have this very real ambition to build a business or, start a side hustle.
Yeah, but then you just hit a wall.
Yes. You get trapped in that incredibly paralyzing feeling of, I just don't have a good idea.
It's so common.
It really is. Well, today, we are going to fix that. Our mission for this deep dive is to shatter the myth of the lightning strike idea.
Good, because that myth ruins so much potential.
It does. So we're taking our source material today and extracting the exact step-by-step frameworks, specifically things like the skills inventory, the annoyance audit, and this ruthless $500 test.
That test is a lifesaver, honestly.
It really is. We're going to use these to help you uncover the profitable business ideas that are just, hiding in plain sight in your own life right now.
Because it is a remarkably common frustration for ambitious people. You have all this stored up energy and motivation, but you just don't have a target to aim it at.
Right. All gas, no steering wheel.
Exactly. And a big reason for that is this cultural myth that you need a sudden epiphany. We tend to treat starting a business like buying a lottery ticket.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
You're waiting for a massive stroke of genius to just magically strike.
Right, or expecting a fully built mansion to just drop from the sky instead of, focusing on laying a single brick.
Okay, let's unpack this, because where do we even begin when someone is just staring at a blank page and waiting for that lottery ticket?
Well, we actually have to begin by unlearning. Before we can zero in on your perfect idea, we have to deconstruct a very dangerous cultural myth about what a good idea actually looks like.
Which is what, exactly?
The core premise across our sources today is just this: originality is not required, execution is.
Wow. That feels almost sacrilegious to say out loud.
I know, it really does.
Because we are so conditioned by culture to think we need to, invent the next Facebook or build some revolutionary artificial intelligence platform.
Oh, definitely.
We think if an idea isn't entirely brand new, it's just not worth pursuing at all.
We absolutely are conditioned that way. But our sources point out something incredibly counterintuitive.
Which is?
The most reliable signal a business idea is worth pursuing is that other people are already doing it and making money.
Wait, really? So a crowded market is a good thing?
Yes. It isn't a red flag telling you the market is too full and you should stay away. That is your ultimate proof of concept.
That makes so much sense. There is actually a fantastic story in our material today about a post on a small business forum.
Oh, the guy with the two businesses.
Yeah, that one. So this guy breaks down his experience running two very different businesses. The first was a classic tech startup. He had the clever name, the slick website, the pitch deck.
Let me guess. The hockey stick projections.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those ridiculous financial charts that show revenue magically shooting straight up into the stratosphere after month 6.
Right, which never happens.
Never. He worked on it for 3 years, talked about it at every dinner party, and it made almost zero actual dollars before completely folding.
Which is the reality for the vast majority of those highly original concepts, They look great on paper, but they're trying to force a brand new behavior onto the market.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle. So what was his second business?
It was a commercial cleaning company, right?
Yep. No pitch deck, no clever name, no venture capital at all. Just a van, some industrial cleaning equipment, and a few employees.
And his quote summarizing the experience is just legendary.
It's so good. He said, "The boring business paid my mortgage. The cool startup paid for my therapy."
That is amazing, and it perfectly encapsulates the concept of the boring business filter.
Right. So we are talking about stuff like commercial cleaning, landscaping, pest control, mobile car detailing, bookkeeping.
Exactly. These types of businesses survive every single economic cycle, booms, busts, recessions, because the demand is utterly consistent.
Yeah, it's a recurring need. The office is always going to get dirty again.
The grass is always going to grow back.
It's funny. It feels like we're all sitting around trying to invent a brand new, never-before-seen flavor of water.
Right.
Complete with a massive marketing campaign to convince people to drink it, when we could just be standing in a desert selling cold, plain water.
That's a perfect analogy.
But I gotta ask, is deliberately copying existing, boring models actually the statistically safer bet for a new entrepreneur?
What's fascinating here is that existing demand beats originality every single time. A fragmented market of boring local businesses is actually an open invitation for a well-run, reliable newcomer.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about the psychology of the consumer in those markets. You don't need to educate them on why they need their trash removed or their corporate taxes filed.
Right, they already know they have the problem.
Exactly. They were already actively paying someone to solve it. Your only job is to be the operator who actually shows up on time, communicates clearly, and does what you promised to do.
Which honestly sounds pretty easy.
It is. The bar for basic execution in these traditional spaces is shockingly low.
Okay, so we don't need a groundbreaking new invention. We just need to find these solid, high-demand gaps where the current execution is poor.
Precisely.
But how do we actually find them? Like if I don't own a pressure washer, and I definitely do not know how to balance corporate books, staring at the local market still feels pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, I hear that. And this is where the framework shifts our focus. We stop looking outward at the broader market for a moment, and we start looking inward.
Looking inward, okay.
You need to audit what you already possess, but are currently giving away for free. This is called the skills inventory.
I love how methodical this gets. The material breaks this internal audit down into 3 critical categories.
Yeah, it's very structured.
Let's walk through them, starting with the first, professional skills. And the crucial distinction here is that we're not talking about your job title.
Correct. A job title is far too broad to monetize on its own. Marketing coordinator or project manager, that doesn't tell us what you actually do.
So what are we looking for?
We need to look at the granular daily tasks you execute. If you are a project manager, your monetizable skill isn't managing. That's way too vague.
Right, nobody hires a freelance manager.
Exactly. Your actual highly valuable skills might be vendor negotiation. It might be timeline crisis management, or crucially, it might be the ability to handle extremely difficult toxic personalities without derailing a project.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is a real skill.
It's huge.
Or take a nurse as another example. Their overarching title is nursing, but their specific granular skills involve like triage prioritization.
Yes, exactly.
They possess elite-level family communication skills in high-stress, high-emotion environments. They know how to break down wildly complex medical jargon into simple, actionable terms for a terrified patient.
And those are highly specific, transferable skills. Corporate management teams would pay a massive premium to learn that kind of high-stakes communication.
Okay, that makes total sense. So what's the next part of the inventory?
That brings us seamlessly to the second category, which is informal skills. These are the things that friends, family, and coworkers constantly ask you for help with outside of your official job description.
Oh, I see. So it's the stuff you don't even classify as work because it's just, part of your day.
Precisely. To audit this objectively, you can literally just open your phone and look at your text messages over the last 3 months.
Wait, really? Just look at your texts?
Yeah. What are people asking you for? Maybe you're the person everyone texts to review their resume before a big interview.
Okay. Yeah.
Or you're the one who always ends up fixing the office technology when the Wi-Fi drops or the printer jams.
Or maybe you're the friend who cannot walk into a disorganized kitchen without subconsciously reorganizing their pantry to make cooking more efficient.
Yes. And the profound realization here is that this is literal existing demand.
Because people are already asking you for this service.
Right. They are already consuming your time and energy to get it. The only difference between your current reality and a profitable business is the introduction of an invoice.
Okay, that is a huge light bulb moment.
Yeah.
But what if your informal skills are things you genuinely have no interest in doing full-time? Like, I don't want to fix printers all day.
Fair point.
Yeah.
That forces us to look beyond your hands-on abilities and into your environmental awareness. And that is the third category, industry knowledge.
Oh, man, this might be my favorite concept in the whole inventory. There is a brilliant example in the sources about Sarah, a dental hygienist.
Sarah's story is the perfect illustration of this.
It really is. So she worked as a hygienist for 11 years. She had absolutely no business degree. She never took an accounting or management course.
Nothing like that at all.
But she spent over a decade sitting in the back office of various dental practices, watching their scheduling systems and billing software completely fail to communicate with each other.
Because she possessed the specific industry knowledge to see the duct tape holding the whole operation together. An outsider would just see a normal waiting room.
Right. But she saw the receptionist pulling her hair out, the lost revenue from missed follow-up appointments, and just all the structural inefficiencies.
Because she was living it every single day. Staff were spending hours on manual data entry tasks that should have taken, 3 minutes.
So she realized that if her office was struggling this badly, other dental offices in the state probably had the exact same blind spots.
Exactly. So she used that deep industry knowledge to start a dental practice consulting business.
Which is so smart. She goes in, fixes their software stack, trains a receptionist, and now earns significantly more than her clinical hygienist salary ever was.
She didn't have to invent a new skill, She just leveraged her insider view of a fundamentally broken system.
But I want to push back on this inward-looking phase for a second because it brings up a massive psychological hurdle.
Okay, what's that?
Ego and self-blindness. If I am naturally gifted at organizing kitchens or editing resumes, it feels too easy to me. It feels almost like cheating to charge money for it.
Ah, yeah, the curse of knowledge.
It's the classic analogy of the fish not knowing it's swimming in water. How do you convince yourself to charge for something that just feels like your normal everyday baseline?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's vital to understand that expertise is entirely invisible from the inside.
Invisible.
Yeah. The things you know how to do well feel effortless to you because you've possessed those skills for years. You fundamentally forget that the vast majority of the population cannot do what you do.
Right. I assume everyone can just intuitively fix a spreadsheet.
Exactly. To get past that mental block, we have to force ourselves to view our baseline skills through the eyes of someone who is desperate for that exact outcome.
That is a massive perspective shift.
It is. The biggest hurdle to starting a service business isn't a lack of skills. It's your own internal narrative telling you that your skills are cheap simply because you already own them.
You assume everyone knows how to format a professional resume because it takes you 20 minutes while watching TV, but someone else is literally losing sleep over it, terrified they won't get the job because their formatting looks terrible.
Precisely. They will gladly pay for that peace of mind.
Okay, but let's play out the alternate scenario. What if someone does this internal audit? They look at their professional tasks, their informal favors, their industry knowledge, and their skills just don't easily translate into a standalone service.
Like they hit a dead end.
Yeah. What if they look inward and still draw a complete blank?
Then we immediately flip the lens. If looking inward doesn't spark a viable idea, the next step in the framework is to look outward at the friction in your daily environment.
Okay, outward.
Yes. This is what we call the annoyance audit.
The annoyance audit. I love the name. The assignment here is incredibly practical too. You spend exactly 1 week, 7 full days writing down every single frustration you encounter in your daily life.
Big or small, it all goes on the list. You're essentially training your brain to notice friction instead of just passively suffering through it.
The everyday examples are so relatable. It's the local contractor who promises to send a quote and then just never calls back.
Oh, that happens all the time.
It's the dry cleaner that keeps changing their hours so you can never pick up your clothes after work. Or it's the soul-crushing 45-minute wait at the DMV for a vehicle registration task that literally takes 3 minutes of actual typing.
Yes, the DMV is a classic example of friction.
Or it's opening your neighborhood Facebook group and seeing a dozen different homeowners begging for a reliable handyman because all the local ones ghosted them after the first day of work.
Which is a huge signal. But once you finish the week and have this massive list of annoyances, you can't just pick one at random and start a company.
Right, that would be risky.
Very. The framework provides 3 rigorous filtering questions that you must apply to every single item on your list.
Okay, what's question 1?
Question 1. Is this just my personal problem, or do a significant number of other people suffer from this too?
Right, because if you're the only person in town annoyed that a specific obscure brand of sparkling water isn't sold in your zip code, that is a personal grievance.
Exactly. That is not a market you can build a business around. You need shared friction.
Got it. Shared friction. And the second question.
It leads to question 2. Is anyone currently trying to solve this problem? If they are, how are they doing it? And if no one is solving it, you need to ask, why not?
Like, is it because the margins are terrible? Or is it legally impossible to do?
Precisely. You have to understand the landscape. And finally, the most important filter, question 3. Would people actually pay money to solve this? And how much would they pay?
Because some annoyances are annoying, but not, I'll pay $50 to make it go away.
Okay.
Annoying.
Exactly. The vast majority of the complaints on your annoyance list will not survive those 3 questions. But the handful that do the recurring frustrations shared by many people where no convenient solution exists, those are genuine, validated business opportunities.
Okay, and if your own life is somehow perfectly organized and friction-free, you can actually audit other people's friction.
Yes. which is a great hack.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Our sources point to public complaint forums as absolute gold mines.
Oh, they are.
Things like a subreddit mildly infuriating or scrolling through local next-door neighborhood complaint threads. But my absolute favorite strategy is analyzing Yelp and Google one-star reviews.
It is a phenomenal strategy. You are essentially letting the market do your research for you.
Think about the psychology of a one-star review. People are so angry that they take time out of their busy day to publicly document exactly how a business failed them.
It takes effort to leave a bad review.
It does. Those reviews are a literal treasure map. Customer complaints act as a giant neon X, marking the exact spot where a new, better business should be built.
I completely agree.
Like, if you look at every plumbing company in your city and they all have reviews complaining that the plumbers never show up on time and leave muddy boots all over the house.
Which happens constantly.
Right. There is a massive, highly profitable business waiting for the one new plumber whose entire brand identity is just. We show up exactly when we say we will, and we leave your house spotless.
It is brilliant because it completely removes the guesswork from the entrepreneurial process. You don't have to sit in a room and wonder what the market might want.
The market is screaming its exact desires at you in all caps in the comment section.
Exactly.
So let's say you've done the work. You spent a week doing the skills inventory. You spent a week doing the annoyance audit. You scoured the local one-star reviews. And now you're sitting at your kitchen table with a dozen potential ideas.
A good place to be.
Yeah, but some leverage your internal skills. Some solve local friction. How do you avoid spending the next 6 months building the wrong one? How do you know which ideas are actually viable and which ones will just drain your bank account and your sanity?
This brings us to the ultimate ruthless filter to pressure test those ideas. It is called the $500 test.
I love how delightfully blunt this constraint is.
It is designed to be uncomfortable. The test asks a very simple question. If you absolutely had to make $500 from this specific idea in the next 30 days, how exactly would you do it?
Okay, 30 days, $500.
Yes. And here is the critical constraint that makes the test work. You have to generate that $500 without building a website, without forming an LLC, and without designing a logo.
Wait, push pause for a second. I have to play devil's advocate here.
Go for it.
Because that constraint sounds insane for a modern business. No website. How do you even look legitimate to a customer? It feels like trying to sell a ghost.
It does feel that way at first.
And I know someone listening right now is having a minor panic attack, thinking, isn't it illegal to take money from a client without officially registering an LLC first?
Let's address the legal fear first, because it stops so many people dead in their tracks.
Please do.
In the vast majority of cases, you do not need an LLC to legally accept a first payment. You can operate as a sole proprietor to validate the idea.
Okay, that's a relief.
Yeah, an LLC is for liability protection as you scale, not a prerequisite for your very first transaction. But your broader point about looking legitimate without a website, this raises an important question about what a business actually is at its core.
Right. If it isn't a website, what is it?
A business is simply an exchange of value. You solve a specific problem and someone gives you money in return.
Yeah.
That is the entire equation.
Value for money. Simple as that.
Building a beautiful website, tweaking a logo design in Canva for 3 weeks, agonizing over brand color palettes. This is what we call productive procrastination.
Productive procrastination. Wow. I think everyone who has ever tried to start a project just felt that hit a little too close to home.
It is a fascinating psychological trap. Designing a logo gives your brain a safe dopamine hit of accomplishment. It generates a false sense of forward momentum.
Because it feels exactly like you are working hard on your business.
But what you're actually doing is safely avoiding the terrifying, deeply vulnerable act of looking a real human being in the eye and asking them to hand you their hard-earned money.
Man, that is so true. So if we strip away the safety blanket of the website and the business cards, what does the $500 test actually force us to confront?
Well, our material highlights 3 instant realities this test brings to the surface. First, it completely forces specificity.
Meaning you can't just be vague about what you're selling.
Exactly. Abstract, floaty ideas instantly fall apart when you apply this 30-day pressure. Let's say your idea from the audit is, I want to start a wellness lifestyle brand.
Okay, sure. Sounds nice.
Right. But how do you extract $500 for a lifestyle brand from a stranger in 30 days with no website? You simply can't.
You literally have nothing to sell them.
The test forces you to realize you don't have a functional business model yet. You just have a vague aesthetic concept.
It's like throwing a bucket of ice water on a daydream.
It really is. Which leads directly to the second thing it accomplishes. It reveals your customer acquisition problem at the smallest possible scale.
Okay, break that down for me.
You are forced to answer the mechanical questions. Who exactly am I going to call or email today? What exact script am I going to say to them? And what exact service am I going to deliver tomorrow?
I see. If you cannot figure out the mechanics of getting $500 from a single idea, you are definitely not going to figure out the mechanics of getting $50,000.
Because the friction of customer acquisition doesn't magically disappear as you build a bigger brand, it actually compounds.
That makes sense. It only gets harder.
And that leads to the third major benefit of the test. It rapidly separates viable business models from pipe dreams. It ruthlessly weeds out ideas that require massive scale to work and heavily favors ideas that can work small and locally.
To put a concrete example to that, if your grand idea is to build a new social media app for pet owners, making $500 on day 30 is basically impossible.
Totally impossible. Your entire business model relies on having millions of free users engaged before advertisers will pay you a dime.
But if your idea from the annoyance audit is cleaning gutters because local companies won't call people back, the path is super clear.
Crystal clear.
You can physically walk down your street this afternoon,
Yeah.
look up, knock on 10 doors where you can visibly see leaves overflowing from the roof, offer to clean them right now for $50 each, and walk away with $500 in cash by sunset.
No logo required.
No logo required. I love that.
And that is the ultimate takeaway. The $500 test isn't genuinely about the money itself.
It isn't.
No, it is a psychological tool designed to prove that a direct, viable path exists between your service and a paying customer. If you cannot secure a first payment without the safety net of a built-out brand or an existing audience, you do not actually have a company.
You just have a hobby.
Exactly. You just have a hobby.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? Let's zoom out and recap the incredible journey we've just taken through these frameworks.
There's a lot of practical ground to cover.
It is. But the main takeaway is you do not need a miraculous stroke of genius. You do not need to wait for the entrepreneurial lottery ticket to hit.
Not at all.
You need to objectively look at your granular daily tasks and the informal favors people ask of you, that is your skills inventory. If that fails, you need to track the daily friction and the one-star reviews in your own neighborhood, that is your annoyance audit.
And finally, when you have a list of targets, you have to ruthlessly verify the best ones by figuring out exactly how to get a stranger to pay you within 30 days without hiding behind a shiny website.
That is the $500 test.
It strips away all the intimidating mythology of Silicon Valley startups and leaves you with pure, actionable mechanics.
It proves that you already possess the raw materials necessary to start. You just needed the structured framework to recognize them.
You really do. The opportunities are everywhere once you train your brain to see them.
You really do already have what it takes. And as we wrap up this deep dive into the mechanics of idea generation, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over today as you look at your own community.
A little homework.
Yeah. We've established that flawless execution always beats originality, and that the absolute most profitable ideas often come from solving other people's daily annoyances.
So true.
So, what would happen if you looked at the absolute most successful, dominant local service business in your town right now?
Ooh, I like where this is going.
The one that everyone uses because they have to, but nobody really loves.
Yeah.
Instead of being intimidated by their massive size or their fleet of branded trucks, what if you just asked, what is the one tiny, persistent, annoying thing their customers are still complaining about?
Find that leak in their plumbing, and you might just find your entire business model.
Exactly. Stop waiting for the lightning to strike. Go out there and fix the plumbing.